Hello everyone, welcome to The Educationist, your own YouTube channel. Today we will discuss very important topic of literary criticism.
We're going to talk about Chapter 8 from Critical Practice by Caherine Belsey, titled Towards a Productive Critical Practice. Belsey एक बहुत ही famous literary critic और England की scholar हैं. She was born in 1940 and she died in 1921 at the age of 80. English literature में उनका शुमार बड़े अहम critics में होता है. इनकी एक बहुत फेमस बुक है क्रिटिकल प्रैक्टिस जो 1980 लिखी गई. Now let me start with a simple question. Have you ever felt that when you read a book, everything is already decided for you? The meaning, the message, even how you should feel. It's almost like you're just watching something finished, like looking at a shiny product in a shop. You don't see how it was made, you just consume it. And that is exactly the problem this chapter highlights. Traditional way of reading. According to Belsey, many traditional theories, especially expressive realism and classic realism, treat literature like a finished product. They focus heavily on the author, as if the writer is the king, and the text is simply their message. So what happens? The reader becomes passive. You just accept meaning, instead of creating it. Reading turns into consumption, not thinking. It's very similar to modern advertising. You see the perfect product but not the process behind it. Enter Bertolt Brecht. Now here comes a major shift. Brecht, a revolutionary playwright, completely changed how we experience stories, especially in theater. Instead of making the audience emotionally lost in the story, he wanted them to stay alert. Think, question, react. He used techniques like breaking the fourth wall, reminding the audience, this is a performance, think about it. So instead of being passive viewers, people became active participants. And this idea is very important. Because it shifts power from the author right pointing arrow to the audience, or reader. Belsey's main idea. Now let's come back to Belsey. She takes this idea further and says, reading should also be active. She introduces the idea of productive criticism. This means, you don't just receive meaning, you actually create meaning. According to her, meaning is not fixed. It moves between three things: the text, the reader, the ideology, beliefs, society, culture. So every reader can produce a slightly different meaning. What makes a good critic? Belsey also says that being a good critic is not automatic. You need different experiences, critical thinking, self-reflection, imagination, even some creativity, like a writer. In simple words, a good reader is also a thinker and a creator. Death of the author. This idea connects with Roland Barthes and his famous concept, the death of the author. What does that mean? It doesn't mean the writer disappears. It means the writer no longer controls the meaning completely. The reader becomes equally important. Final understanding. So what's the final message of this chapter? Traditional reading, fixed meaning. Author controls everything. Reader is passive. Belsey's productive criticism, meaning is open. Reader is active, text is dynamic. It's like moving from being a consumer right, pointing arrow, to a producer, conclusion. So next time you read a book, don't just ask, what does the author mean? Ask, what does this text mean to me? Because real reading begins when you start thinking, questioning, and creating meaning. Outro. That's it for today. If this helped you understand the concept more clearly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon. And tell me in the comments, have you ever read a book that made you think differently? See you in the next lecture.